Legion. Not Privets, thankfully. I hope this poor soul didn't die alone. It's much darker and... no, Privet! Wait, these aren't sheep bones. Maybe a horse? Oh, poor thing. Privet's sash. I gave this to her as a present. Finding Privet's sash worries me. She'd never take that off. Unless she left it as a clue. She wants me to know she's here. What a horrible notion. You don't think they'd plan to eat poor Privet? How could anyone look into those sweet eyes and consider such a deed? Privet isn't food. She's a friend. But I must agree, very nasty behavior from my new neighbors. We know Privet came through here because we found her sash. But since we didn't see any sheep bones, they must have moved her. Let's search the caves over to the west. I know it's rude to rummage around someone's home, but they started it. Look, a trail of bones. Oh, still not Privet's. A good sign. Look at that natural bridge ahead. I bet the view is delightful. think I hear her breathing. We must be close. Oh no, Privet! How could we put my beautiful friend in a cage? We absolutely must free her. Sweet Privet, reunited at last! A cave exit is nearby. Come, Privet, let's get out of here. Oh, my dear Privet, I don't know how I could live without you. I must say, and I don't usually speak ill of anyone, but those Hadalids were awful. Didn't even bother to explain themselves. I'm thankful you came along to help. And Privet tells me she appreciates you as well. No, thankfully. Her wool is damp and dirty, which I find offensive. High Isle feels so peaceful most of the time. That's why I like it here. A respite from all the...
you return alone? I take it the news is not good. Grenier and Denise were not just retainers. They were friends. The Steadfast shall miss them, and so shall I. Please, tell me what happened. Grenier and Denise were helping arrange a banquet at Castle Nevere. Then they were to collect the supplies and return here. What could they have seen that would cost them their lives? The banquet is just to welcome our royal guests to the island. The Ascendant Order, plundering Steadfast supplies and killing our retainers. Damn. It was brave of Grenier to try to fight back, but foolish. The supplies weren't worth their lives. So Lady Arabelle informed me. I hesitate to accuse anyone, but perhaps you should join me at Castle Nevere. All the nobles of High Isle will be there, and if my retainers did see something at the castle, perhaps you can determine what that was. Duchess Elea of House Dufort is hosting the banquet. She's decided to go ahead and throw the party, even though our guests of honor are still missing. Go to Castle Nevere's courtyard. Introduce yourself when you arrive. Be discreet, please.
It's a shame the Ascendant Order got to Lord Baccaro's retainers before you could. What could they have seen that warranted their deaths? Perhaps we'll learn more at Castle Nevere, although I'm certainly not in the mood for a party. And our missing guests of honor will no doubt be the main topic of discussion. This is a chance to listen, as well as ask questions. Make sure you speak to Elea Dufort, Demar Dufort, and John Menard. They'll be the most important nobles present. Until we know more, I suspect everybody. But if any of the nobles are funding the Ascendant Order, I think it likely that it's one of the grand families of High Isle. That means House Dufort or House Menard. Either way, we'll know more soon. Elea is the Duchess of House Dufort, and nominal ruler of High Isle. Demard is her brother and a count. John Menard is the highest-ranking noble of House Menard, currently on High Isle. He's Count Leonard's cousin, representing house interests here.
so distraught she's refusing to leave her rooms. So exciting.
Scandalous. No doubt Isabel is beside herself. Poor girls.
What brings you to our tourney grounds here at Castle Navir? Oh, never mind that. Have you heard the latest? The Knight Commander has offered her daughter's hand in marriage to the Sapphire tourney winner. Everyone's aghast. Well, Aurelia has been the most desirable hand on High Isle for years, but no one thought she'd ever commit to a match. Seems the Commander has forced the issue. Oh no, that would be a slap in the face to her mother. And Aurelia's such a good girl. More scandal. Her friend Isabel is a participant in the tourney. She's sworn to free Aurelia from her mother's promise. I can't wait to find out what happens. If you help Isabel win the tournament, she could agree to marry Aurelia, then free her from the shortest engagement in history. Delicious!
Might as well enjoy ourselves while we're here. Do you still prefer a Russafeld Red, my lady?
That would be delightful. Thank you, Baccaro. Introduce yourself to the nobility, my friend. And remember, even the smallest detail could be the clue we seek.
I don't believe we've met. John Monard, a pleasure. My family is in shipping. We import goods from the mainland and send wares from the archipelago to markets in Tamriel. You're the investigator working with Lady Arabelle, aren't you? The Duchess explained everything to the court just before you arrived. If Lady Arabelle had consulted us, things would be different. We know what hazards await careless captains making the approach to High Isle. Her ships were simply unprepared. Don't tell me you buy into this Ascendant Order nonsense. A shadowy order of knights working to undermine the governments all across Tamriel? It's a ruse, my friend. A convenient fiction to protect the flawless name of House Dufort. Oh. Alea gained her station by currying favor in High Rock. Then she made a show of backing Lord Baccaro's steadfast society. But ruining the peace talks and getting heads of state killed? Blame must be placed. And she'd never fall on that sword herself. My family ruled the archipelago for generations, but the Duforts were never happy in our shadow. They spent years poisoning the court against us. And when my uncle Avreep quietly supported King Rancer a few years back, it paid off for them. The High King stripped my uncle of the ducal title and gave it to the Duforts. It was an outrage, really. We took no part in Rancer's war. At least the Duforts didn't get everything they wanted. We kept most of our holdings, and it eats at them. Goodness, no. That honor falls to my cousin Leonard, and he can have it. I wouldn't want the responsibility. No, I'm content managing our affairs here on High Isle. I leave the larger concerns of the business and house to my cousin, the Count.
Such a waste. I have little patience for the vanity of our noble houses on the best of days. Right now, I'm sure we all have better things we could be doing. I suspect you agree. You're the one assisting Lord Baccaro and Lady Arabelle, aren't you? I try to keep up on matters of state, but I confess, Alea told us all about you. I am Count de Mard, the Duchess's brother and court mage of House Dufort. Tell me, has your investigation uncovered news regarding a sudden storm that appeared recently? A hypothesis that matches my own. While my sister chases bandit knights across the countryside, I wonder about the druids who make the wild parts of High Isle their home. They have little love for civilized culture. They could be responsible. I don't think that storm was natural. The druids wield old magics and consort with spirits. It is well within their abilities to summon such a tempest. They mostly keep to themselves, but I suspect a ruse. Those are your culprits, mark my words. Magic is the legacy and heritage of the Breton people. Oh, I spent my time mastering the sword and knightly pursuits in my youth, but I believe that a true Breton must study both halves of our nature, and perhaps the ways of the druids, too. We Bretons trace our ancestry to Needs and Elves who intermingled during the early history of High Rock. Therefore, spellcraft is in our blood, and we all at least have some talent with magic. I find the subject fascinating and decided to embrace it. No, some have forgotten our traditions. Were it not for my talent, I doubt my sister would bother with a court mage. She sends me to look after Dufort interests in ports across Tamriel, rather than making full use of my arcane skills. A pity.
Lord Baccaro has arrived, Duchess. He brought that Lady Arabelle with him.
Welcome to Castle Navir. You're Lady Arabelle's assistant, yes? Then you know these festivities are only for appearance's sake. Our guests of honor have yet to be found. Rest assured, I intend to bring the radicals behind this plot to justice. I'm aware of most things that happen on my isle. It's true we didn't connect reports of mysterious knights to the Ascendant Order until recently, but now that we know they are one and the same, we'll quickly bring them to heel. I suggest that you and Lady Arabelle leave this matter in our hands. My knights have already pinpointed several sites where the Ascendant Order gathers. They are scouring High Isle for our missing guests even as we speak. Which is why I prefer to handle this discreetly. I suspect House Mornard is behind this. They profit greatly from the war, and they still hold a grudge against my house for overshadowing their own. Frankly, I put nothing past them.
Might I offer you a refreshment, friend? Didn't think I'd miss this little soiree, did you? Listen, I have it on good authority from a very accommodating chambermaid, in fact, that the Duchess has been looking into the Ascendant Order on her own. Well, I've got a plan. Not Jakarn, waiter, Fred. I'm in disguise. I told you about the chambermaid, right? She's one of the Duchess's personal assistants. Well, she told me where the Duchess keeps her sensitive documents, among other unmentionable items. Nobles and the upper staff never pay attention to the common help. I easily filched a key from that stuck-up steward Hercian. While I cause a distraction, you go take a look. Duchess Alea has a private study somewhere beyond the northeast door. I'll lure the guards away from the doors, but I'll need your help. Talk to one of the musicians and ask them to play the tune Stagger and Sway. It's an old favorite of mine. I'll take care of the rest.
Something you need, friend? I don't really take requests. Duchess Alea provided a list of approved songs she wanted performed. That one definitely isn't one of them. Not that she would notice. I don't think anyone is really... It's good to see that someone appreciates the arts. All right then, you'll have your song.
Lords and ladies of the court, I dedicate this song and dance to the most buxom, curvaceous, voluptuous of all royals.
stand against us, and you will be brought to your knees.
Oh, good, you're all right. It seems our adversary has decided to send a message to all those in attendance. Submit or die. A classic. Did you uncover anything useful before the Ascendant Magus made his entrance? I see. Clearly Duchess Alea's investigation hasn't gotten very far. Perhaps we can make better use of the leads she's been developing. But we have little time to waste. The Ascendant Magus demonstrated real power. Did you notice how the ground shook when he unleashed his storm? That's not a magic I've seen before. Somehow his storm magic is causing earthquakes. At least he hasn't recovered the Alliance leaders yet. We still have time. Because the Ascendant Magus has made a show of wanting us to fear him. Why would he care if he had what he wanted and couldn't be stopped? No, the royals elude him, somehow. But his magic, I wonder. Among the other problems plaguing High Isle, lava vents have begun to open in random locations. Between the ground shaking and the storms, could the Magus have stirred the volcano? Let's return to my manor so we can study these items more closely. Lord Baccaro, it may not be safe to return to Steadfast Manor.
Nonsense. I refuse to hide from these cretins. I'll double my guard, but they won't drive me from my home.
Very well. I'll check in with you later. Jakan, let's go. And put on a show.
Don't worry, sweetheart. I'll figure... I'm sorry, this isn't the best time. My friend Aurelia has a bit of a problem. Her mother has promised her hand in marriage, and I need to get her out of it. Somehow. Actually, you look quite capable. Would you mind lending me a hand? Apologies. My name is Isabelle Valois. I'm an aspirant in the Sapphire Tourney, a proving ground for squires looking to join the knightly orders. Aurelia's mother is Knight Commander, and, brashly offered her daughter's hand as a prize. Well, normally, aspirants only compete in one of the trials. If I can win all three, the Knight Commander will be compelled to grant a boon of my choosing. I can free Aurelia from her mother's promise. What do you say? Will you be my second? The 8 must have me in their hearts. My second just left my service, and here I was thinking I'd have to do it alone. All right, there are 3 knightly orders here on the Isle. Let's decide what task to tackle first. The people of the Sisters take pride in our knights, the same as anywhere in High Rock. The Sapphire Tourney hosts 3 orders: the Iron Knot, the Oaken Order, and the Order of the Albatross. They're martial warriors and excellent to horse. You might say the Iron Knot is the most traditional of the Sapphire Orders. Our trial will be to find the hilt from a lost sword called Redheart. It was the blade of the first Duke Dufort. Somewhere on these lands, before they belonged to the Duforts, the hilt supposedly had a massive rough-cut ruby in it. Should be easy to spot. My last squire, Burjo, suggested we hit the castle library to get an idea of where to start looking. Let's meet up at the castle library in the Knight's Wing. I've spent many an hour there studying up on monsters, history, and healing. My only complaint is there aren't a lot of novels. Of course. Drake, I'm sorry. I bet I came on a little strong. I've spent months preparing for the tourney, and now the commander's pronouncement has sent me adrift. I'll be all right. What would you like to know? Sorry. It's a curse I picked up from my dad. A word from the old druid tongue that's been co-opted for common folk. I sort of grew up here at the castle, and it's a little more acceptable than the curses the dockhands use, so I use it. Aurelia and I grew up together. We've been close since we were very young, and, well, I can't stand the thought of her marrying one of the other aspirants. Especially Morton's. My goodness, what a dreary man. Nope. The tourney is only called every few years, as schedule and aspirants allow. The commander wants to make sure there are enough people in the mix to make it a challenge. And the orders are only so large on High Isle, as you might imagine. I'm not sure how Tamsfolk tourneys work, but here, each order sets a challenge. Attempting the challenge for an order marks you in good standing, and each order only chooses 1 or 2 aspirants for knighthood. It's fairly competitive as a result. I'm not a knight just yet. That's why I'm in the tourney. I was a squire for years before I came an aspirant. You don't want to know how many stalls I've cleaned. The tourney gives me a chance to prove my worth to the orders, you see. That's a handsome question. I wish I had an answer for you. I can see ways that I'd be a good fit for either the Oaken Order or the Iron Knot. Maybe even the Order of the Albatross. That's a problem for Day's End, Isabel to face. Go on, I'll catch up with you at the castle's library. It's easy to find. Big room, full of books. Can't miss it.
I am going to have one more go at convincing my mother, excuse me, the Knight Commander, to see reason. Making a promise like that for me? What was she thinking? Have you seen? Ugh, Langley is a bore. Brelinol cares only for coin, and Snag is an oaf. And then there's the milksop moribund Mortons. The less said about him, the better. That's a complicated question. The easy response is that Commander Jorvel never goes back on her word. But it's more than that. The tourney means the world to her, and in recent years, we've had fewer entrants. No, she just wants me to be happy. It's expected of noble ladies on High Isle to marry for advantage. Advantage to the ladies, mind. She thinks I'm afraid to take that step and wanted to give me, well, a push.
People left books open all over. How rude.